Avem acum un mesaj video surpriză pentru dumneavoastră, un mesaj în exclusivitate pentru Financial Intelligence, pentru Gala Financial Intelligence din această seară, pentru dumneavoastră, despre provocările din acest moment pe care le înfruntă Europa și noi toți. Domnul Charles Michel, fost președinte al Consiliului European, îl avem în video.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear Romanian and European friends, we live in a paradox. The world is more multipolar than ever, yet multilateralism is weaker than ever. The system built after World War II is being challenged every day by unilateral actions and drawing rivalries. We see the law of force instead of the force of law. And three major disruptions are reshaping the world international order: China's ambition, Russia's aggression against Ukraine, and America First doctrine. China's ambition is reshaping global power balances. China seeks a leading global role, builds influence through critical raw materials, and strengthens its partnerships. This presents both opportunities and challenges. Our response should not be confrontation for its own sake, but engagement, diversification, and firm protection of our strategic interests and fundamental values. Second, Russia's aggression has shaken international stability. The full-scale invasion of Ukraine is a direct violation of the UN Charter. At the same time, conflicts are multiplying all across the world, and the UN Security Council remains paralyzed. Third, the United States strategic shift. Our transatlantic loyalty, rooted in the blood we shed during the two world wars, runs deep. But we must recognize reality. America First is not an accident. It reflects a deeper transformation of American society: protectionism, unilateralism, and ambiguity over security guarantees have consequences for global governance and for the future of the European continent. In Europe, we sometimes suffer from what I call cognitive delay. Cognitive delay, that's when we face something we don't like and we act as if it does not exist. But today, it's time to accept the reality we see and to be lucid. America First is there, and therefore we have to adapt our strategy. These three disruptions confirm that the post-war order is over. A new one is emerging, but it is not yet defined. That's a turning point for the world and a turning point for the European Union. The last decades, the EU has achieved a lot: peace and prosperity underpinned by strong democratic values. But let's be honest, for too long the EU has been dependent and sometimes over-dependent on China for cheap goods, on Russia for cheap energy, and on the US for cheap security. European sovereignty in this context is not a question anymore. It's an existential imperative. The EU must be more resilient, more influential, and more master of our destiny. And we must rapidly build up our sovereignty on three pillars: competitiveness, European defense, and global partnerships. We must foster our competitiveness. We need to innovate, invest, and reduce fragmentation. And we know what to do. Completing the capital markets union, for instance, is urgent. We have still 27 fragmented capital markets. As a consequence, billions of European citizens are not driving European innovation and investments. They are fueling the American economy. Mobilizing European citizens to find European innovation is a matter of sovereignty. We also must regulate smarter. Today, we regulate too much, including sometimes things that do not yet exist. And the precautionary principle is abused. Let's return to the principle of trust in the power of innovation and entrepreneurship. The second pillar is security and European defense. The war launched by Russia is a game changer. The American ambiguity regarding NATO's Article 5 also creates serious uncertainties. We must be a player and not just a playground. We must accelerate joint European industrial projects, and we must build effective European defense capabilities. Third point, we must deepen cooperation with the rest of the world, based on respect, understanding, and mutual benefit. We have good intentions, but often we are seen as lecturing the rest of the world. diversifying supply chains and strengthening global ties is essential for more resilience and for more influence. Ladies and gentlemen, international law is being sidelined and the UN Security Council is ineffective. Peace requires political solutions, not only security measures. Including in Ukraine, peace requires clarity. History shows that the appeasement of the aggressor is not peace, it's a capitulation. It's a reward for the colonizer and a license to aggress again. It's time for true European leaders to stand up and to make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, competition is intensifying in new domains, critical resources, data, AI or space. The rise of middle powers reshapes global diplomacy. What kind of international order do we want? We must ask ourselves three simple questions. What do we want to achieve together as one international community? How do we decide together? And how do we find global solidarity? In my opinion, we need more multilateralism, not yet less. We need more international law and more enforcement, not less. And we need more solidarity, not less. Ladies and gentlemen, history is filled with suffering, but it is not destiny. When women and men act together with vision and courage, they can change the course of history. We have resources and technologies like never before in the history of the world. We have collective intelligence, and let's ask ourselves what's right and what's fair. And let's build a better, more effective, and more self-confident European Union. Let's build a better world. I thank you, and I wish you a great evening.